Hello friends, welcome back. I am Chetna and today we are going to discuss a new chapter of the book Alien. The name of the chapter is Chandni. It's a very emotional and very interesting chapter. It is a very touching chapter also. Let's start this chapter. So this chapter is basically about an old man who used to live in Almora, right? Now this is about the man who feels very lonely and pets goats. Like he used to keep goats as his pets. Okay, so let's read. An old man used to live all alone in Almora. Popularly he was known as Abu Khan. So अब उसका नाम क्या था? Abu Khan was his name. Okay, he had goats as pets and used to give them funny names such as Kalua, Mungi and Mungia or Gujri. These were the names he used to give to his goats. Okay, he would take them out for grazing and talk to them. Now what happened? This man Abu Khan was very lonely and an old man. तो वो अपने पास क्या रखता था? Pets रखता था, goats as pets. So he used to treat those goats as his own children. He used to take them out, for grazing on the fields, and he used to give him the juiciest grasses, the goats, and he used to talk to them, the goats, all the time, just like one talks to his children. So but what happens is Abu Khan is very unlucky in the matter of his goats. Why is he unlucky? अब उसको क्यों टर्म किया जाता है कि अब्बू खान ना बहुत अनलकी होते हैं अपने गोट्स के मामले में? Why? Because basically जो भी गोट्स होती थी अब्बू खान की, they were hilly goats. They were the best breed of the hill goats, right? तो अब hill goats का क्या होता है? They want freedom. They don't want to be caught in a place and उनके neck के around वो rope हो, वो नहीं चाहते. वो goats को हमेशा क्या चाहिए होती थी? Freedom. तो क्या होता था? One by one उनकी सारी goats भाग जाती थी, up to the hills in order to enjoy freedom. That's what happened every time with Abu Khan. Okay, let's read. Very often at night the goats would pull at the string, जो भी उनकी string होती थी, till it broke loose and then they would disappear beyond the hills. Now hills पे वो चले जाती थी because उनको बहुत tempting लगता था वो hills. उनको ऐसे लगता था like the hills were calling out to them, right? Abu Khan's goats were the best of the hill breed. Whenever the goats disappeared, Abu Khan became very sad. Now what happened? He used to get very sad. Now the reason why he used to get sad was उसको पता था कि जब भी उनकी goats ऊपर जाती थी hill में, they were eaten up by a wolf. That was an old wolf. और वो हमेशा उसको खा जाते थे उसकी goats को. That's why जब भी उसकी कोई भी goat disappear होती थी, that man used to feel very bad about it. क्योंकि उसको पता था that goats will not be able to protect themselves and the wolf will ultimately eat that goat. So he used to feel very sad at every time. Okay. Now what happened? He could not understand. Now Abu Khan could never understand this fact. Why even the juiciest grass and grains he gave them, all the love that he showered on them, would not stop them. Abu Khan could not solve this mystery. Abu Khan कभी भी ये mystery solve नहीं कर पाए. यार, I am giving them the juiciest grass. He used to think कि मैं इनको इतना प्यार करता हूँ, इनसे हर टाइम बातें करता हूँ, इतना अच्छा feed करता हूँ इनको, फिर भी ये goats हमेशा क्यों भाग जाती है? Abu Khan was never able to solve this mystery कि वो सिर्फ इसलिए भागती है कि hills पे जाके वो मारी जाए. So this was the mystery he was never able to solve it. Okay. Now moving on, what happens is, this is what Abu Khan says. He says, no more goats in my house again. I may yet live for a few more years, but I live without goats. This was the wording of Abu Khan. He got very sad जब उसकी एक एक करके सारी goats चली गई, उसको बहुत sad लगा. Then he said that no, I'm not going to get any more goats. Now I'm going to live alone. But what happened? But the poor lonely man could not do without pets, and soon he bought a young goat, thinking that a young goat will stay with him longer. Soon she will also love him as well as the food. She will never want to go to the hills. So अब Abu Khan ने पहले decide किया that I'm not going to I'm not going to pet the goats anymore. But soon what he did, he bought a young goat. He bought a young goat, thinking कि अब ये जो young goat है ये मेरे साथ रहेगी, अगर starting से मेरे साथ रहेगी. Initially she might not like it, but eventually उसको खाना भी पसंद आने लगेगा. She will start loving me and as well as the food. So ये सोच के उन्होंने एक young goat ले ली. But what happened? He also thought that she will never go to the hills. Now let's see what happened next. Now, it was a very beautiful goat. Right here we can see, and he describes that the new goat was very pretty. She was white as snow and had two little horns on her head and a pair of shining red eyes. So what happened? The goat was so beautiful that he named the goat Chandni. Chandni again means moonlight. So like the goat was so pretty, that's why he named her Chandni. So she had a friendly nature. अब वो goat की nature बहुत friendly थी and would listen to Abbu Khan story with a lot of interest and affection. जैसे कि अब्बू खान को चाहिए था कि कोई उनकी बातों को बहुत ध्यान से सुने, प्यार से सुने. So that's what happened over there. She was listening very carefully to everything and with interest also. So अब्बू खान को लगा कि अब चांदनी तो मुझे कहीं छोड़ के नहीं जाने वाली. So now what happened? Abbu Khan named her Chandni, as we have discussed. Several years passed. Chandni was still there and made Abbu Khan believe that she will never leave for fresh air of the hills beyond. Now several years passed, but unlike other goats, she was still there with Abbu Khan listening to him, and he was thinking that yes, Chandni is never going to leave just for the fresh air of the hills beyond. She will never leave him. This is what Abbu Khan thought. Alas, he was wrong. Abbu Khan was wrong. Let's see what happened next. So one day what happened, just like another goats, uska bhi man karta tha hilltop pe jaane ka, and she used to feel like going there and discovering. She used to feel as if the hills were calling her, and she used to run like uski taraf bhagti thi, but then again she was pulled by the rope. That's when she started to feel like going there, and she stopped eating food that time. We'll read that. Okay, so every morning Chandni watched the hilltops bathed in the sunlight. She felt so tempted and ran towards the hills, but had to stop with a jerk. Just like in this picture, she had to stop. She ran, but she had to stop with a jerk. The jerk was of the rope round her neck and wouldn't let her go any further. She started hating that rope. There came a time when she started hating that rope. उसको बिल्कुल भी अच्छी नहीं लगती थी वो rope, because that was the rope which was actually stopping her to go to those hills. Alright, so Chandni stopped eating and even listening to Abbu Khan's story. She was not taking interest in any of his stories now. She lost her appetite, grew thin, and always stared at the hilltops. What happened? उसने खाना बंद कर दिया चांदनी ने, and वो stare करती रहती थी हमेशा hilltop पे. So that's how her appetite also grew less. Like it grew very less appetite, and she turned very thin that time. Okay. So what happened? One fine day, Chandni thought that she is going to confess to Abbu Khan, and she confessed. उसने अब्बू खान को बता दिया, Dear Abbu Khan, let me go to the hills. Please, if I stay in your compound, I'll die. She says that if I stay in this small place, tied with that rope, I am going to die one day. Surely I'm going to die. This is when Chandni confessed to Abbu Khan. Then Abbu Khan was very sad. Abbu Khan ने उसको समझाया कि I'm feeding you with everything, but why do you want to go there? She said that I want my freedom. I want to go there. ऐसा चांदनी ने बोला. Then Abbu Khan ने उसको again warn किया, चांदनी, मैं तुम्हें इतनी स्टोरीज बता चुका हूँ. जो यहाँ पे गोट्स रहती थी कि वो जब भी ऊपर जाती थी उनको एक वुल्फ खा लेता था, और अगर तुम जाओगी, the same thing is going to happen with you. He used to explain all this to Chandni, but then Chandni was just firm at one thing, that I want to go to the hilltop. वो वहीं पे she was always stuck there, और वो सुनती नहीं अब्बू खान की बात. Then at everything Chandni had to say that मुझे जाना ही जाना है. So what happened? Abbu Khan was very concerned for Chandni. Abbu Khan को बहुत emotional attachment भी होती है goats के साथ, और वो बहुत sad feel करते हैं क्योंकि उनको तो पता है that the wolf is going to eat. So Abbu Khan Chandni को समझाते हैं that don't go there, please don't go. But Chandni फिर से कहती है that मुझे तो वहाँ जाना ही जाना है. So what Abbu Khan does, वो उसको एक हट में बंद कर देते हैं Abbu Khan, so that protect कर पाए चांदनी को वुल्फ से. चांदनी वॉज नॉट ग्रेटफुल टू अब्बू खान कि उन्होंने मेरे को इतने जूसीएस्ट ग्रास दिए, इतना मेरे से प्यार किया है. सो शी वॉज नॉट ग्रेटफुल टू अब्बू खान. सो व्हाट हैपेंड, अब्बू खान स्टिल वांटेड टू सेव हर लाइफ. ही वॉज अ वेरी काइंड पर्सन. ही वांटेड टू सेव हर लाइफ डिस्पाइट ऑफ एवरीथिंग. तो उन्होंने उसको एक हट में बंद कर दिया. बट व्हाट हैपेंड, अब्बू खान गॉट टू क्लोज अ विंडो. दिस वॉज द विंडो ऑफ दैट हट. सो व्हाट हैपेंड दैट नाइट, शी जस्ट जम्प्ड आउट ऑफ दैट hut, that jumped out of that window from the hut. So that's how Chandni was able to escape that small hut. That happened when there was a disagreement between Abu Khan and Chandni. वो उसको समझा रहे थे don't go. Chandni was refusing that I want to go. So ultimately क्या हुआ, वो hut में से वो jump करके window में से बाहर चले जाती है Chandni, right? This is what happens. Now we'll read how she was feeling once she went there at the hilltops, how she was feeling about it. Okay, so once Chandni reached the hilltop, it seemed to her that the hills were standing in a row to welcome her. उसको ऐसे लग रहा था जितनी भी hills है in a row, they were standing to welcome her like with open arms, right? So she felt like a child meeting her parents. जैसे एक बच्चा अपने parents को काफी time बाद मिलता है, उसको ऐसा feel हो रहा था. She was feeling amazing and so different when compared to her past prison house. Prison house क्यों बोला जा रहा है अब्बू खान के घर को? उसको एक जेल की तरह लगता था because she was caught up there. So she was, when comparing, she was feeling amazing being there. In Abu Khan's compound, she was not feeling good there. So there on the hill, she was feeling amazing. It was like the happiest day of her life. उसको ऐसा लग रहा था, this is the happiest day. I could not ask for anything more than this. So she played for hours and also met a herd of wild goats. वहाँ पर क्या हुआ? She met a herd of wild goats और उन wild goats में उसको offer भी किया, उनको उस goat को, चांदनी को invite भी किया, come and join us and we'll play together. But what happened? चांदनी ने उनको मना कर दिया. चांदनी ने कहा no thank you and she moved on because she wanted to enjoy her freedom all by herself. That's why she said no. So what happened? That was the time when there was sun, the day. So what happened then? Soon the sun disappeared and darkness enveloped the grass, the flowers and the trees. So अब everything went very dark. Initially सब कुछ अच्छा चल रहा था, but later on क्या हो गया? Darkness हो गई. Chandni heard a strange sound which came from the bushes. Now it was the time when there was darkness and there were no goats all around. Like the herd of goats she met, वो भी नहीं था वहाँ पे और बहुत dark हो गया था. So the sound was like a grunt of that of a wolf. So Chandni then thought of the dangerous wolf that lived in the hills. She felt scared. तो अब उस टाइम पर उसको अब्बू खान की सारी बातें याद आ रही थी और उसको लग रहा था, उसको डर लग रहा था. She was feeling scared about that, right? But then in her heart she said to herself and said, death in an open field is far better than life in a small hut. She said कि बाहर अगर मैं मरूँ तो it's better than dying inside a hut. कैद होके मरने से अच्छा है कि मैं फ्री होके मरूँ. ये उसकी थिंकिंग थी, and which is a very good thinking of hers. So Chandni stood firm on her legs, head slightly bent and the horns jutting out. Jutting out means the horns were coming out, like she was very ready for her fight. So she was a picture of courage. We can see that would डरी नहीं. She was not, like, she was scared but she stood firmly, like she was acting like a true picture of courage and bravery, right? She looked like a brave soldier ready to fight. She was ready to fight, come whatever may. She was ready despite of the fact that she was small and she might be weak in front of the wolf. She was totally ready for it. Now Chandni thought that the success or failure is matter of luck or chance. This is truly said that it was just a matter of luck and chance and also the efforts that you put in. So she believed in that. So she did not get scared and did not go back to that place. She fought with the wolf. The fight began and went through the night. The moon, who had been watching the fight, began to grow pale and hid behind the clouds. Stars also began to disappear. These lines show that उनकी जो fight थी वो बहुत देर तक चलती रही and also जितने भी stars थे वो disappear होने लग गए थे और जो moonlight थी वो भी pale होने लगी थी, which means that the night was passing by. The night was passing by and she was still giving a fight to the wolf. Let's see what happened next. The first rays of the sun, like in the morning जब first rays होती है sun की, saw Chandni lying in the ground soaked in blood, like she was totally covered with blood. The wolf, tired and sleepy, was getting ready to devour her, which means he was getting ready to eat her. Like she was very tired, covered with all blood, and even the wolf was also tired. Like she was almost dead here. Chandni was dead. She was covered with blood, and the wolf was totally ready to eat her, and he was also tired, but he was ready that I have a dinner to eat or whatsoever, like he had meat to eat. So who is the winner? An assembly of birds perched on the top of a tree and they were debating. अब क्या हुआ, वहाँ पर एक ट्री पे बहुत सारी birds बैठी थी and they were debating like who is the winner among them, like Chandni the goat and the wolf, who's the winner? So what happened? The wolf, of course, most of them said that wolf is the winner clearly because he is alive and Chandni is no more. So a wise old bird declaimed with confidence, Chandni is the winner. So wise old bird said that Chandni is a winner. That is true. Chandni was a winner because of the courage that she had shown and because of the bravery and the good fight that she had given like whole night long. So therefore he said that bird said that Chandni is the winner, which is true. So here our chapter ends. I hope that this chapter is clear to you guys.